3, 2, 1, play.
My name's Paige.
My name's Paige. I've had 3 pregnancies, 2 with terminations and 1 I had a child. My first pregnancy when I was 17, which I terminated. My second I was 20, gave birth at 21. And then my third I was still 21, 6 months after having my daughter, Paitlin.
I'm Leah, 22. I have 4 kids. I had my first child at 16 and I had the abortion about 17. I'm going to talk a wee bit about it.
I'm Tanaya and I'm 24 years old, and when I was 16 I had an abortion. My impregnator was a 21-year-old drug dealer, and so it was just not ever going to be the right thing for me to do.
1 2 1 2. This is Cousin on the mic. From Manchester to Liverpool to Belfast to Harare, Zimbabwe. My story goes undocumented, unrecorded, but I have a story to tell. So check it.
Like any girl over here, we would be really uneducated about it, really. There's nothing over here for them other than Google. And then of course we type it into Google, all the horrific stories come up and the pictures come up.
Did you learn anything in school?
Never did anything about it in science. Never did anything about it in, social health or anything like that.
It wasn't a very openly talked about thing unless it was sort of in the nervous kind of joking sense. I know a lot of young males like to joke about a lot of things, especially when it's a serious topic like this. So the only thing I'd ever really learned about it from friends was jokes about promiscuous girls getting abortions and whatnot, which is obviously false, but I think that's about it from
From friends?
Yeah, not amount of friends.
I had a pregnancy scare. I wasn't pregnant, but I was talking to my sister and I was going, oh my God, I'm pregnant. I'm going to have to get an abortion. I'm going to have to get an abortion. And I was going, is it how they say in Dirty Dancing? I was just absolutely convinced that I was going to end up Penny, just on the bed with Patrick Swayze next to me going, what are you doing? To be fair, I think if I had Patrick Swayze next to me, I was going through the process.
Yeah, me too. I went to a Catholic school and in RE, I was shown an abortion video. Not only did it have what looked like a full-term baby shown on the screen, but it had horror music. Yeah. With a piano noise, do you know,
Yeah, psycho music.
Proper.
When I found out I was pregnant the first time, I decided, literally, from the get-go, I explored the idea of keeping it. It must have been for about 10-15 minutes. And then I was just no, it's not the right thing to do. And because my mum, the type of mum my mum is, she's this is what you're supposed to do, as in you find someone who you love, then you buy a house, then you make babies, do you know what I mean? So for me, I was just this is everything against what my mum wants. I've got nowhere to live. I'm still in school, it's not even my boyfriend. She just wouldn't have had it. Well, I thought not anyway.
I was on another planet at that age. I didn't get on with my family at all, and I was finding myself in this sort of spiral of doing really bad things, rebelling. I did think about keeping the baby on some occasions, but the sort of sense of oh my God, like, what would happen was just so overbearing. Like, I thought that my mum would kill me. I remember I was at my boyfriend's house and I was smoking some weed and I'd fallen asleep and she was ringing me and it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and eventually like, I called her back and she was like, where are you? She was gonna kill me, etc, etc. She came to pick me up and then my sister was driving and my mum took her shoe off and she was hitting me with it. And then my sister was like, don't do it now, like do it when we get home. I got home and my mum got a knife from like the kitchen cupboard, and she was just like, the things that she was saying were about like, it's hard to translate this directly into English, but it was sort of like, what you're doing to my, like, the respect, like what you're doing to my standing in the community, you know, I won't have it. That was just me staying out somewhere till 2 o'clock in the morning. Imagine what it would have been like if I'd have come home and said I was pregnant.
The second time I got pregnant, so Paul, my partner, was in ours with his 2 kids. So I just walked straight past him, went in the bathroom, shut the door and done the test, and I was like this, sat waiting. And then when it said positive, I was just sobbing on the toilet. So by this point he was like, what's going on? Let me in the bathroom. So he ended up picking the lock with a knife and come in. And I was just sobbing and he was just like, he thought I'd lost a job or something. So I picked the pregnancy test up and threw it at him and went, I'm pregnant. So then he was like, why are you crying? That's good news. But I didn't think it was at the time. I was like, I want it. Is that good news? I'm going to lose uni. I'm going to lose my job, blah, blah, blah. It's just not the right time. And he was sobbing, saying, oh, please, please, please. I want you to keep it and all that. And in my head, from that point, I was like, I'm not having this baby one bit.
I'll be honest, I'm not very responsible. So I was sort of like taking the pill like one day and then not taking it the other. And I just assumed that however much I was like taking, that would be enough to like, you know, stop a baby from occurring. So then, right, I decided, okay, I'm gonna go to the Brook. And I went with my boyfriend, and when she said, I'd like to inform you that you are pregnant, that moment, I just felt sick straight away. I mean, all the questions of like, my college, everything, my ambitions, my boyfriend. I also remember me being really dramatic, like my family is Muslim, like I'm having an abortion. Of course, I was just really angry, like of course I can't keep it, like.
Abortion's still illegal in Ireland.
Is it?
Yeah.
No.
They have pure protest and pure like Irish people and all that.
So you can't, there's nowhere to get an abortion in Ireland?
Or Northern Ireland.
Or Northern Ireland?
No, but they have like people online over there who sell like tablets what can trigger abortions and stuff like that. But these are the extents what the girls over there have to go through.
I was pregnant when I was 16 with Ashley. And I kind of knew it was my decision to have her. And then March 2012, I got pregnant again, and I decided that, you know, it was the wrong time, and that's when I thought like I had to have the abortion, and I just thought of like Ashley, her dad wasn't about, so I thought I had to give her my 110% attention. So she kind of made the decision a bit easier as well, and I couldn't like mentally, like I had depression and stuff, and I just thought having this baby was just not for me, not at this time. And then I told my mum straight away because I knew I needed help to have the abortion. So she was just kind of like, it's your decision, it's your choice, you know, I'll support you either way. And well, for like us, I had to go to my doctor, and I told him I wanted to have an abortion, and he was very much against it and said that he wouldn't advise me to do it and wouldn't put me in contact with anybody to do it. So.
It didn't matter what anybody thought they knew. It didn't matter because we snuck around and hid the truth. It didn't matter because his heart was mine and mine his, entwined. But after seeing 2 pink lines, I knew there were 2 hearts beating inside of me. Couldn't believe, cried so hard I couldn't breathe. This would be the end of my life. if they knew I had a baby. I never knew I could feel this way about someone. It's kind of crazy, but there is something about you that's got me breaking the rules. Ooh. Breaking the rules.
So they sent me off to have the scan, and they put that stuff on your belly that feels like hand sanitizer, really cold. And then at that point, the screen was facing me, and I just remember feeling like this is such a grown-up thing. I can't believe like I'm here doing such a grown-up thing. And the scan lady said, "Oh, are you keeping this baby?" And I said no, so she just turned the screen around. Then I had to go to Manchester Pregnancy Advisory Service. No one could accompany me to that, so I went on my own. And then I went into the room, and it was my family GP. And I was just like, I can't believe like my family GP, who's been my family GP since I was like a baby, moonlights as an abortion doctor. And he's also Bengali. And so then it was just, well, you know, of course he can't say anything, but like as soon as I came out of the room, like when it was done, I changed doctors really quickly.
If people have got goals in life, so they're 16 years old, they're planning on doing A-levels, then uni, they more often than not choose termination. If they're 16 years old and they say, he's very nice and I might as well just have the baby, he's already got two to somebody else, but if they haven't got any other life goal, then having a baby seems to be their goal, which is okay. What we've got to be is completely non-judgmental. So you might think, oh God, here you are again. Now you're 19, you've had 3 terminations in the past. It might be quite irritating to us, but we don't let that show. Because the one thing that I always say to them is, the decision you make today is right for you today. And it's nobody else's business. So it might be different next year. It might be different in 5 years' time, but today, you're making the right decision.
Our Paige said to me, I'm going to go to the doctors and talk about me options, is what she said to me. And I just said to her, Paige, you've got no options at the end of the day. Because if you get rid of this baby, then I just don't know if I could have ever spoke to her again, because I just thought, I don't know, I just think it's selfish, to be honest. I just think it's really selfish. I think if you're going to get pregnant, you need to take on the responsibility. Why should we decide whether somebody lives or dies? Do you know what I mean?
No, not somebody, Sherry-Ann.
If it was somebody who's already been born, we don't get to make the choice whether somebody lives or dies once they're already here. So what makes it any different when they're inside your stomach? Do you know what I mean?
You was in me here telling me not to get rid of it, or Zoe was in me here telling me not to get rid of it. My mum was saying I'm not saying nothing, but basically subliminally telling me not to get rid of it. And I thought, well, no, I need to just remove myself from what all them people are saying, and this needs to be my decision. So if it turns out that I do want to get rid of this baby and Sherry-Ann hates me, I'm sure she'll come round in the end, because what will I do if I have this baby and I cannot take care of it?
That's when they told me that you could have the tablet. You have a tablet and then you miscarry, or you could have the, I think it was called something like evacuation or something. I can't remember what it was called, but they suck it out. Vacuum aspirosis. I can't remember what it was called. It's just, words. When you're 16 years old, they don't mean anything. But I decided that I'd prefer to have that one. And unfortunately, I wasn't far along enough. It has to be after 6 weeks. And I just remember, like, it was really hard.
I booked the doctor's appointment. So she done this thing and she was like, oh my God, you're 5 months pregnant. So I was like, oh my God, no. So she was like, why are you crying? And I was like, because that means it's too late to get an abortion. So she was like, we're going to have to send you for a scan to see exactly how far you are. Because you could get an abortion up to 18 to 20 weeks, but not in Liverpool. Nowhere in Liverpool does it. So she was like, if you're just before that point, you will still be able to get it. But in my head, I was thinking I can't, because it's a full-blown baby then. So I was like, oh God. I went to the appointment and our Shauna came with me. And then they done the scan, but they don't let you see it when you're supposed to be getting an abortion. They say, we're not going to show you, it's just to see how far you are. So then the woman done it and our Shauna was looking at the screen, and as soon as she seen it, she was like, oh my God. So then I was like to the woman, I want to see it. And she was like, I really don't think that's a good and I was like, no, I want to see it. And then as soon as I seen it, I was just like, oh, I can't have an abortion. I can't.
Well, we went home and discussed everything with my mum, and she done all the Googling, all the research, and spoke it over with me. And it was hard, it was difficult. I told so many lies to get the money. It was unbelievable. And I had to get like a fast track passport the day before, and that was like £110 on top of 80 something for the flights, and then £800 for the abortion. Like, I definitely think there should be more fight for it to be legal over here.
I just think that if it becomes legalized here, then I think more and more people become more careless, and then more and more people have abortion.
I just feel like it's murdering someone. Like, I just don't understand how you could just kill something so precious that's living inside of you. Yeah.
And it's technically your fault, unless it was due to something with like rape or something like that. Mm. And if people don't have to live with consequences, then they're not going to change their actions.
I'd just like to, I'll say that everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and everyone should have a choice, which is hence the pro-choice. I feel like if you're on the pro-choice end, you're saying yes to both. You are entitled to have a child if you want, and you're entitled to abort the child if you want. If you're on the pro-life end, you're just taking that choice away. And I feel like a choice is a human right.
I also had to schedule it around my exams, and because my college is a Catholic college, so I could get away with saying that I had an RE trip. So I told my mum I was going on an RE trip, and I needed to be at Piccadilly bus station for 7 o'clock in the morning in order to get to the clinic by 8:30, so you could have it that day without being kept overnight, because I'm not allowed to, well, at that age, I wasn't allowed to stay out overnight.
Hiding in the shadows, you ask a friend. She knows a friend who knows a friend of a friend. And then late one night, it comes back to you in a dress. Number 23 Rukaha Street, Epworth. And the price, $100.
My partner, he was still kind of like a wee teenage boy. It wasn't really supportive. He didn't really care. He didn't worry about how I got there or where I was getting the money to get it done.
When I was pregnant the first time, and obviously the lad I was seeing, I'd been seeing him for years, but he was a bellend, you know what I mean? So I'd said straight away, well, I'm getting an abortion anyway. And he was like, it's not just your baby, it's not just your choice to make. And I was like, no, mate, but it's my body. and you're not even committing to me now, so why am I gonna have a baby for you to leave the both of us?
My boyfriend was really supportive, actually. I remember he said that if I wanted to keep the baby, that he would tell his mum and we would be able to sort it out. But I just kind of saw that as an annoyance, really, just thinking, don't make me feel any emotion towards this thing. But then, on reflection, obviously, that was a really kind thing that he'd offered to do.
The night before, he was like out drinking or something, and I sent him like a message like, are you being fucking serious? Like, I'm going for an abortion in the morning, it's 2 o'clock and you're absolutely out getting drunk and doing whatever.
But say you're not you.
Okay, I'm not me.
Shut up. And a girl gets pregnant.
Yes.
And you like.
Wait, am I me or the...
What?
Am I not me or
No, this other person.
Yeah.
And you get this girl pregnant and she, like, you don't want her to get rid of the baby.
Yes.
And she wants to get rid of it. Do you think that's fine?
That's her choice.
And do you think that's right?
Well, yeah, because it's up to her, she's going through it, you know what I mean? And if she really wants the abortion, I'd say, listen, you know my point of view, there's nothing more I can do. But...
Yeah, but then...
It's sly, yeah.
It's proper unfair.
It's unfair, but that's...
Like, I know it's her choice to do whatever she wants to do with the body, but it's also his baby.
Yeah. So then that's when you have the conversation.
I'm sure a baby is more important than a body. But then I think, again, after saying that, if I was in that situation and a lad really wanted to keep the baby, I don't know what I could do, because I don't know if I could, like, carry this baby in me for so long and then just let it go and not do anything for this child. But then I don't want a kid.
So what would you do?
I don't know.
Because the time's ticking.
Probably kill myself.
Then you're killing you and the baby.
No, might as well just kill the baby. No, I didn't mean that.
Nah. The time I was pregnant with Caitlin, well, Paul, my partner, had put pure emotional pressure on me to have the baby. So then this time, when I got caught pregnant again, well, I knew straight away what I needed to do. I couldn't manage another baby, and I didn't want to tell Paul before I'd done it. I didn't want him getting in my head and making me do something that I didn't want to do. The relationship already wasn't in a good place, and he wouldn't do anything to help me with Caitlin. Wouldn't even change a nappy. Like, he was there, but not there, if you know what I mean. So I just went and had the procedure and decided I'd tell him when it's all over.
When I decided to specialise in obstetrics and gynecology, at that time, everyone did abortion. And so I just did abortions, and I didn't really stop to think about whether it was good or bad or how I felt about it. But I suppose over the years, I've become more of an advocate for the need to provide abortion care. So I think we need to recognise that a woman's lifetime chance of having an abortion in the United Kingdom is 1 in 3. And so I find myself thinking that gynecologists should do abortions, and that if you don't want to do abortions, then perhaps you should think about taking another specialty, so become a dermatologist or a chest physician or something like that.
I'm a Christian and I am a gynecologist, but I personally have chosen not to do abortions because I feel very strongly that the pregnancy that is developing is a mini person that is created in the image of God. And whilst I don't judge other doctors for performing abortions, and I know that most doctors don't like to do abortions, but they choose to do them for people to have choices, I don't feel that that's something that I am able to do.
the problem becomes if you work in a hospital where 2 or 3 doctors say, no, I won't do abortions because it's against my religion, the burden then falls on a small number of others who then become fed up with being asked to do all the abortions. And then they eventually react by saying, well, I'm not going to do them anymore either. So eventually you end up with very few gynecologists prepared to do abortions.
They are humans.
yet,
They're
Sherry
not
Ann.
growing into Martians, they're growing into babies.
But what I'm saying is they're not anything yet. The cells,
So where should
they're a
rights
mass
start?
of cells.
So where should we have
Once you
rights?
enter the world independently, breathing for yourself,
So then that
not
means
off
that you should
an
be able to have
umbilical cord
abortions until you're
connected
full
to my
term, yeah?
stomach, babe.
So you should be able to have abortions until you're full term then? That's what you've just basically said. You should be able to have an abortion until you're full term. If it shouldn't have rights until it's come out.
No. Obviously, there should be laws to how far you can do it, because obviously it feels pain and whatever, but if the cells have not got a brain, they cannot feel pain. Sherry Ann, they can't feel nothing.
You can't be for abortion if you're gonna say, but when you can feel it, it's wrong.
Yeah.
No, because how does that make sense?
I don't agree with doing it while you can feel that it's a baby and you can get a scan and you can see it's got a head, it's got arms, it's got legs, it's got a willy. None of that. But if I was
Well,
like...
babe, look at my 13-week scan. It's got a head, it's got a body, it's got arms, it's got legs.
Well, then I
And I
wouldn't
was
get
only
one
13
then.
weeks. But you would, because how far were you when you got one?
8 weeks.
Well, are you sure about that?
It's partly an emotional thing, because there is no doubt that as the fetus grows, it becomes less like a ball of cells and becomes a baby, becomes a recognizable object which looks just like a baby. And once you start to see fetal movements, it feels more of a cruel procedure, and depending on how it's done, it's also an unpleasant procedure. So dilatation and evacuation when you're pulling out bits of fetuses is extremely unpleasant. So people automatically, I think, react by saying, well, I think I'll stop at 12 weeks.
As we know, our abortion law allows us to abort to 24 weeks and sometimes even later. But I don't think that there's a sudden cutoff that you can say that this is a fetus that doesn't have rights, and then it suddenly becomes a fetus that does have rights. And I guess my cutoff is at implantation, because that's very clear to me that life has begun at that point.
But then I think you have to say, well, who are the women who are having abortions beyond 12 weeks? And to me, those women are often less able to get their lives into control, and particularly the very late terminations, often the very young or the very old in reproductive terms, who have taken a long time to recognise that they are pregnant, or who have problems with mental health or something else. So to me, if you're going to do abortions, then I think you have to say, well, why am I doing them? If it is to make life better for those who have unintended pregnancies, then I don't see the logic in having a time limit.
Saturday, 7:45 a.m. She wakes up, splashes cold water on her face, and takes out the piece of paper that's been burning a hole in her pocket for the past 3 days. So, she steps on the bus. The 427 headed out of town. Shades on, eyes ahead, shoulders back. The eyes of the kid on the bus lock with hers. An old woman smiles. Disengage, headphones on, chin up, shoulders back. And her hand slowly falls. and rest subconsciously on her belly. And I gently lower my head to the beat of the music. And the beat goes on. Bass breaks hard. Her white and gold Adidas feet step off the bus into the heat and the dust of the midday sun. The eyes of the street vendors burn a hole in her back. Chin up. She knocks defiantly on the door and waits for what seems to be forever and a day. Until an old woman answers and says, "Come this way." The room is dark, like a womb. Bed on the floor, shiny metal on the table, hips in the bowl. She lies down and waits. She closes her eyes and she waits. And she waits. And the beat goes on. Beat, 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 beat. Tick, tick, tick.
I remember having like butterflies in my stomach and just waking my mum up to talk to her about it. And then I remember being on the plane and just thinking, I don't think I can do this. And my mum says, it's your choice, you know, we can just take the money and go shopping, because she wanted to go shopping. But like on the plane then I thought, no, I'm doing it. You know, I need to do it and I want to do it. But right up until the door, she was like, you know, it's your choice, it's your call.
Have you been to that abortion clinic on Egbert? Well, it's just like a big house. It's literally on a street and it was just like a dead big house.
And then we landed in Liverpool and we got the taxi to the Merseyside clinic, and it was just like a big house type thing.
So we went in, our Shauna was with me, and we were in the waiting room and it was just like loads of people in there.
I remember seeing an old Indian woman who was just smiling like the whole time, and just, it's weird also to see another Asian person having an abortion.
There was a girl in there that I went to school with and she was with a mum, but I don't know whether she was getting the abortion or a mum, because they both looked dead sad. But I just said hi to her and just sat down. I was like, this is just not what I was expecting. Like, they had piles of magazines, little thingy water machines and tellies all around the room, and Jerry Mikhail was on. And everyone was just like getting on with what they were doing.
They brought me into the room, and of course, me and my mum, whenever she comes to a hospital appointment, she doesn't leave, so she thought that she came with me, but they put her out and spoke to me, and they asked, I went into the scan and they asked, did I want to have a picture of the scan, and I was like, no, I don't even want to look at it, just do whatever you have to do. And until the very point, you know, you're like taking your clothes off and getting changed, you're sort of still thinking, like you have that in the back of your head, like, is this right? And then I went upstairs and got undressed into like a nightie, lay on the bed, and they put like a cream on your hand, and then that was it. And then I woke up and I was like, is that it? And they were like, yeah, that's it, it's done. And I was like, where's my mum? And my mum came up and she just gave me a hug, and that was it. My friend actually has a picture of hers, so she does. She just keeps it, like, I don't know what she does with it. She looks at it like, but yeah, she has. I was just like, I don't even want to just turn the screen, and they did. So
You go on the Saturday, you take the tablet, go home, and then you come back on the Sunday and take 2 more tablets, and that breaks the pregnancy away from your womb, and you like, it comes out which was a bit horrible, but it wasn't any, and it was literally like a blood clot, like the size of a conker. If that, do you know what I mean? You had like, you were in a room and you had like a bathroom attached to the side, and they give you this like, what are they called? You know, those green trays, what they give the old women to wee in and stuff in the Aussie. One of them. And every time you go for a wee, unless you were going to have a poo, you wouldn't use it. But if you were going for a wee, you'd have to put that in like the hole of the toilet and wee in that, because they needed to check it so they knew when the baby had come out, well, the fetus had come out. So they give you like loads of sheets of brown paper and they say to you, don't ever look in the tray, just put the paper over and you had like a little red lever, pull that, and every time you wee, they come and took the tray away, and then eventually they come in and go, you've just passed it.
After the abortion, I got picked up by my boyfriend's cousin, and I really wanted a kebab kebab from Rush Home Chippy. So we got me a kebab kebab, and then we went to watch Pirates of the Caribbean in the cinema, and I fell asleep.
When I went home, I was in agony, because after that, you'd have a dead heavy period. But I was just thinking, but then I was thinking, I can't even feel sorry for myself.
I felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. So it was like, I can move on from here.
But it wasn't my fault. I was on contraception and I was only young, and, you know, you don't read the leaflet and what comes with your pill and all the rest of it. And there was loads of things on the list what cancelled your pill out. And I'd definitely been taking it religiously. But maybe I'm just on antibiotics or whatever the thing was. So I was just like, it wasn't really my fault. I did think I was covered, so...
I don't know how I kind of stopped crying, but yeah, I did.
And then as it went on, I kind of felt a wee bit gutted or guilty.
And I was having dreams and stuff and seeing the actual child, and I can still see the child today, actually, the image of this child that I was gonna have.
But then, looking at my life now, I know it was the right thing that I did.
I am religious, and I'll always say that I don't think that I made the wrong decision, like from a Muslim perspective, because why would my God want me to suffer? Why would my God want my unborn child to suffer? It's not, it's not what anyone wants.
I 100% made the right decisions about the abortions, but with Caitlin, this sounds terrible, but sometimes I look at her and I love her to bits, but I do always ponder where it might be, as I have not gone through with that pregnancy either. Not that my life's not good now and I wouldn't change it, but it is hard. Especially now I'm a single parent and I've lost my house and everything. Well, yeah, I do think about that decision all the time. Oh my God, my friend Terence has just told me what happened to his cousin in Africa. So the girl had been seeing this guy for a while, but it had all been a secret, so they didn't even know she had a partner, let alone was sexually active. So then she got caught pregnant, and the abortion, what she got, it wasn't even in a clinic, it was like literally like a room, and the woman done it like old school, like the way on what was that movie? The woman, like Vera Drake, it was like that. And she'd gone back to the woman twice, because the first time she'd done it, and when the girl went home, still no bleeding or nothing, done a pregnancy test and she was still pregnant. And then the woman had said to her, no, that can happen. It can still come up that you're pregnant, but you won't be. But I'll do it again if you're not sure, but you'll have to pay again, because my time's not free. So she's paid again, got it again, and then went home and she was bleeding then. And she was just like, it's just me period and whatever. And then she was hemorrhaging. So then her mum and dad were a bit like, well, what's going on with you? And she come clean to them. Now, the dad has like kicked murder, but obviously the mum was like, a safety's paramount at this minute. We'll deal with what she's done when we get back. And they've took her to the hospital, but she died. She had septicemia. She was only 21. But the really old school, like traditional, and they buried her the next day in like a wooden box. Didn't even have a proper ceremony or whatever. Because obviously they can't say because she's died because she's had a backstreet abortion. So from that, everything's had to stay hidden. It's just the shame, Terence calls it, but I wouldn't call it shame.
Do you know what? I would love to get involved in something to get help for women over here.
I just feel liberated. And I can't believe how many people want to hear these stories.
I really want to tell my nieces and nephews because if they ever got into that situation, they would have someone, you know, so that they don't feel alone.